people of Earth. I am Beth Bailey, founder and creative director and sole employee of Creative Pathways and host of Let's Chat, Creative Pathways podcast. So let's chat. It's just you and me today. And I am wanting to check in with you all on a little solo chat here to introduce myself, talk a little bit about the projects I have going on, and also talk about the reason I'm doing this interview series. So, welcome to my living room. You may have seen this before if you've seen any of my other interviews. And let's get into it. So, if you are watching this on a podcast platform like Spotify or Apple Music or anything like that, you may notice that while this is episode 8, there is no episode 1. And the reason for that is because I had the idea to start this interview series about 3 weeks before I started it. And that is typically how things go for me. I come up with an idea that's about half formed and then I fully execute. So that's essentially my business model. I am approaching 40 years old. I will be 40 this June. I'm a lifelong creative. I was a super creative kid. My parents supported me through that. I went on to get a great education from mass art in college. I continue my education to this day. All that to be said, I trust that if I have an idea that is within my realm of expertise, I can just go for it and kind of figure it out as I go. So that's what I've been doing here. And the first episode I recorded was a pretty decent introduction about me, my history, some anecdotes about how I got going to where I am now. And that is on YouTube. So if you're curious about that full deep dive, check out Creative Pathways on YouTube. I think it's Creative Pathways Project if you're searching, or of course, Let's Chat Creative Pathways. So when I recorded that, I was still figuring out the audio. I'm still figuring out the audio. So you can go over to YouTube to see that first episode. And I don't think I saved that file. I was originally thinking I would just be doing this podcast. I wasn't even thinking of the podcast. I was just thinking of it as an interview series that would be on YouTube. But after I got into my second episode, I realized how easy it was to just upload the same content onto podcast platform hosting sites. So here we are. So if you missed that or the audio is too annoying, hopefully it's better now. Figuring it out. But so I started my creative journey, like I said, basically from birth. Grew up in a creative household and have also always wanted to work for myself. So when I went to mass art, I focused on community arts education as opposed to studying in the track where I would go on to teach in a school. I like the idea of working different community centers, museums, studios, and that's what I did for a long time. It was just probably in 2022 or so that I started branching out and really working for myself. And the way that unfolded was slowly. I'd take one job and then another job here or there. I'd move around. And eventually I got to a place where I have a whole bunch of different jobs. I'm juggling lots of different things at once. I'm an entrepreneur and I love it. It's really fun being able to set my own schedule. And that's basically life as a freelancer, right? Any of you out there who are working freelance life, I would actually love to hear from you about how you book your schedule because it is something that I'm having a lot of fun with, but I'd just be curious to see other people's techniques. I basically work off my calendar. I have my set work days and my set work hours, and I'm just trying to book that calendar with as many paydays as possible And if stuff moves around or I have a day that isn't a payday, then I'm working on projects that will lead to one. So this is a little bit outside of that, I guess, but it's filling a social need for me. Working by myself, I'm an extrovert, I would say. I do love my solo studio time. I must have solo studio time, preferably daily, even if it's just an hour or so at the end of the night after my kids are asleep. But I really do love getting out in the community and working at all different types of studios and community centers over the years. That was fulfilled for me. But working on my own, sometimes I find myself, I mean, not anymore, I guess, since I've really got my business going, but I would find myself just, a week or two would go by and I've only seen the people in my nuclear family. So, so it's great being out on the road, doing different jobs all the time. And with Creative Pathways, the program that I actually bring out to people, it's designed around 20 traveling sketchbooks. That number is always growing, but so far we're at 20. And I bring them to all different types of locations. Right now there's some open for public participation at the Levitate shop in Derby Street in Hingham. There is one at the Whitman Public Library. There's also one at Frame Center in Hanover. So if you're interested about seeing some of these sketchbooks in person, you can pop over to any of those spots and contribute your scribbles or your beautiful drawings or whatever you want. There's no way to mess these up. I collect lots and lots and lots of textures and layers and all sorts of things. And eventually what I do is I cut these sketchbooks up into collage materials that I then bring on site to do collage with programs. So places will bring me in as a visiting artist and will be oftentimes making 5x7 greeting cards using these collage materials. I'll also have my sketchbooks, which are a good way to either start people off to get everyone warmed up or to circle back to later if everyone has finished their cards and are just looking to kill some time. I have the sketchbooks go out to professional artists. Right now there is one in the mail to Justin LaRocca Hansen. That's his second sketchbook. Stacy Buckley has one right now and she's contributed to many of them. She's helped me get a lot of them going. Buthena Moulin is another amazing artist who I believe she does have one right now and has contributed also to many of the sketchbooks and has been a very early supporter of this entire program. So they're going out to visiting artists or they're being hosted by artists. I have them at events. So basically, like if you see me anywhere, I have them with me. It's a great thing just to pull out to scribble on or draw if I'm out with my kids somewhere. And that's essentially how the program started. So when my daughter was really little, I couldn't get into the pottery studio as much as I wanted to. So I really leaned on the sketchbooks to fill that creative space in my brain. She started contributing or telling me what to draw or telling me what not to draw or telling me to stop that drawing and go to the next page. So these sketchbooks just got filled up really quickly. And I always encourage her to kind of go back in and start over. My kids do typically like trying to find a blank page to start, as most kids do, but I always encourage them to add more to a page that's already been started, the same way I do with all of my program participants. Some of the places I've been with the sketchbooks are the Whitman Public Library. I've been there 3 times now to work with their teen group. I was recently at the Friendship Home, which is an amazing community in Norwell for adults with developmental disabilities. And I was working with their teen group as well. That was a fantastic time. I am working with another client right now to develop a program where I would be working with an entire elementary school With this program, I would be there for 2 or 3 weeks on site. There would be a big family night. I hope that one gets going. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm also currently working with a local high school, and we are working on a mural project with my friends Cheryl Pace, who works there, and my friend Matt Tanner, who's an amazing painter. He's going to be the lead muralist on the program. I'm in as Creative Pathways, working to get the whole community of students involved. So I'm taking their ideas and we're gonna show them how we translate ideas into visual language. That's what's gonna end up going up in the mural. So I'm very excited about that. And so that's just like a quick overview of sort of where the sketchbooks are going. I would love to get some team building programs if a corporate place or any local business wanted to bring me in. Actually, I think Friendship Home might do that. They might have me come in and make collages for their staff at a staff event. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just some way to kind of like loosen up and have some fun and make some art together. And it's great because you're not making one piece on your own. It's like you can get a piece started or start with something someone else already started. So you get to leave with something, and also the success rate is pretty high. So that is that program. And when I'm at these programs, so now we're getting into how this podcast came about. When I'm at these programs, something I'm really trying to capitalize and get in front of people's minds is that we're all creative. We humans are creative. So you might lean towards a different type of creativity than another, and I believe that is due to your learning style. So I was talking with an educator. Actually, she was a principal at a local preschool. I was talking with her yesterday, and she was saying visual language is not it for her. She can look at a chart showing where students need to be in all these different classes, and it's like a blank wall. But if she can read through the schedule and actually hear it, so maybe she's reading it, hearing it in her own voice in her head, someone's reading it to her, she captures that. So I didn't get into this conversation with her, but I would venture to bet that she takes to music, and I bet music is really important to her. And it would be interesting to see, I should follow up with her on this. It would be interesting to see how, as an auditory learner, that has expressed itself creatively in her life. Clearly, I'm a visual learner. It's something that is always the way my brain has processed, and it's something, using visuals is a way that I don't know, it's probably like a coping mechanism, stress, anything else. Like I can just get into another little world when I'm working on a piece of art. And sometimes that's a really lovely place to be. So working with all these different communities, I get to talk to so many different people about all their different learning styles. And what is the important part here is that I'm trying to get people to see there's so many different creative pathways in this life. So you can go get your MFA in painting and move to New York City and try to make it there as an artist, which is something I know lots of my peers have done, or even Chicago, lots of great places. I know artists making it in Boston. You can be a teacher in a school and have art education almost become your primary studio focus as you're working with these kids and constantly coming up with different creative ideas to help kids translate their own their own ideas into visuals. And then there's other jobs, like you take someone who is sewing and making beautiful sweatshirts like Olivia Harvey. She's a woman I interviewed earlier in this season. She's also a freelance writer. So she's using several different modes of creativity to make her living. Or you have someone who is working as a graphic designer, someone who thought maybe they'd just be doing sort of like graphic design for digital content, but then found that they're doing package design and overseeing welcome packets and manuals, like my friend Stacey Buckley, who I interviewed recently. So many different ways. I interviewed a wonderful tattoo artist, Lily Austin. She was amazing, also a creative her whole life, and found a career in the arts through tattoos. There's so many different ways to be a creative in this life, and this is something that I'm telling to my students and all of my program participants all the time. And so it occurred to me that I should start recording some of these conversations, because even just the few people I just named, these are conversations I'm having with these people all the time anyway. And I wanted to really capture those conversations to highlight and just document and create a database with proof. Look, there's so many different ways to be a creative in this life. So that's really what I've been doing with this podcast. And I'm so excited to get more diverse participants. And I'm starting with everyone I know and everyone I have connections with. Those people are easy to book, but I hope to grow and book more various types of people. You know, when I'm out anywhere, I'm just so amazed by the creativity that goes in behind the scenes for things. I was at Disney on Ice with my kids and my husband this past winter, and I was just amazed by not only the athleticism, but the creativity that goes into these performances. Giant puppet sculptures with people on skates, acrobatics. Meanwhile, these people are in character, in beautiful costumes. Who's making the costumes? Who is making these giant puppets? Really into giant puppets, especially with North River Art Society Fair coming up, Memorial Day weekend. There's a giant puppet parade, and I really want to get going on making a giant puppet. I've got to wear a giant puppet that another artist made, a giant butterfly, in a previous, I think it was like 2 years ago, at the parade they had there, and that was a blast. For last year, I started making my own giant puppet to wear in the parade, but I did not finish her, but I still have the pieces. So I want to get that through and celebrate. It's just, there's just so many fun things you can spend your time doing. And gardening season is coming up too. So maybe I need to make a little outdoor studio where I can dig a little and then work on my puppet sculpture. I don't know. I'm having a hard time fitting it all in, but one thing at a time, right? So I'm just kind of rambling, but I hope that kind of shows what I'm trying to do with this whole podcast. So if you are a creative and you're living a creative life, reach out to me, let me know if you'd like to have a chat, because I'm always just so curious about things like early exposure, right? Like I'm always asking people, how did your creative path start? Were you an artsy kid? Were you getting support from your parents or community? How did you even know to pursue this, right? So that's one of the big things, is like people don't even know these are jobs. They're all these sort of hidden careers. And I want to just highlight them so more people think to even do it and we have more creatives. And I think especially as we're going towards a world of AI, there's going to be so many more simple tasks that are done for us. And I'm an optimist, and I like to think that that's going to open up a lot more time for creativity for everyone. So whether that just means you can be more creative in your own life because things are getting organized and being done for you, or maybe that's somehow in your career, it's going to open up more creativity. I'm really interested in all of that stuff. So I'd love to hear from anyone who has any thoughts on that. I have a bunch more guests booked. I took some notes here. I don't know if I wrote them down now. I have a potter coming up. I have a sound engineer, a musician, a writer. I have another artist I'm in the process of booking. I have an engineer I'm in the process of booking. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. So that's pretty much it about the podcast and kind of how I got going with that. And the other thing I wanted to talk through with you all is just to share about all the different projects I have going. So again, as a freelance artist, I have lots of jobs. I have a whole list of here of things that I have going right now, and always more irons in the fire. Get lots of irons in the fire, and then as things are hot enough to take out, ready to book, I get them into my schedule and then start working backwards. So one of the programs that I'm going to say first, because I didn't even write it down here, is I was invited to be on the development team for a new summer art program for youth at the Duxbury Art Complex Museum, alongside Sally Dean and Michelle Levesque. So I'm really excited about that. And so for a job like that, it's going to be one full-time week of work, but then I'm going to have about another full-time week, so like another 40 hours for planning and preparation. So I'll block that 40 hours for the program in my calendar, and then I look at my calendar and start slicing out other bits of time to make sure I have enough time to properly plan and get everything going. So that's sort of how I'm always working. I'm kind of going backwards all the time. And that one's going to be so much fun. We're going to be doing large-scale mosaics. I think large scale, at least small. The kids are going to be doing mosaics. Maybe they'll be going together. Sally's leading that one. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then I think Michelle and I are going to kind of be going back and forth, and maybe Sally will be too a bit. We're going to be doing a large mural that will be hanging facing out on the road. So when you drive by the museum, you'll see it. That's going to be so much fun. And I'm going to be bringing all of my sketchbooks to the museum. So we're also going to have a station where the children are working in the sketchbooks and responding to the art. So some of my research getting ready for this is I'm going to be down at the museum looking at what they have on display and start sort of coming up with ideas of how kids can be interacting through the sketchbooks and responding to the art that they're seeing. There's also going to be a time at the end when all the families are going to be able to come. And I think what we're going to do is have the kids kind of show the parents the different stations and then allow the parents to contribute to the sketchbooks as well. So that'll be so much fun. I mentioned a large a mural program I'm working at a local high school. That one, the date is a little bit in flux, but yeah, that time is sort of booked out the same. It's going to be a day on site, getting to know the kids, building excitement, and then we'll probably have another day or two where we're on site painting and interacting. Frame Center is a new client of mine. I hesitate to even say client because they're just art buddies. I was in there for an interview and ended up with an order for branded mugs they wanted to make. So I delivered those. I did 12, and then I'm going to be making some more soon. So that's really exciting, reoccurring order for me. So when I am in the studio in my clay days, I know I've got that project to go. And when I'm making work, I'm always making work to fulfill orders, but then I make enough work to run the kiln a few times back and forth. So when I did that order of 12 mugs, I had another about 12 mugs going through that were my spring collection. So the pieces that I'm selling and bringing around the community right now ended up being these beautiful new wave compositions I came up with, as well as a sun composition, and also some tulips. So there's like these pretty little tulips going around a turquoise mug. So those are actually available through at Frame Center through the month of April. And I already sold one. I'm so excited. Carla Hunter, another amazing local artist, purchased one of my pieces. And that's always so fun when an artist buys your work, right? It's like, it's a big pat on the back. So I'm very excited to have all that work over there. And also been doing window painting for them. So at Frame Center in Hanover, when you go, you'll see one of the windows says local shows, and it has 4 squares highlighting 4 different gallery openings that are coming up. So I'm going back every couple months to refresh those. And I just got a packet from Dave over at the Frame Center highlighting the next 4 that are going up. So after I'm done recording this, I'm going to be working on that composition. And in addition to that composition, he just added on a second window. The other large window in front, I am going to be doing large scale designs highlighting whatever the next local festival is that's coming up. So I'm really excited about that because they're all going to be able to be different, and I'm going to be able to play around with different typeface and drawings. The one I am going to be designing first is for the North River Art Society Festival of the Arts, which is a fantastic event I've been going to for years and has been happening for decades in Marshfield Hills. It is free admission. There is an amazing craft fair. There is free music. There are free art activities for the kids. There are paid things too. There's lots of art for sale. There's gallery shows. There is face painting for the kids. Did I say that already? I've spent a lot of time in those face painting lines, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. The kids look so good. They get really, really good face painters to do that. The puppet parade, the giant puppet parade. I am so into giant puppets. It's like, they're just so, I don't know, they're just so wild, right? Like this giant crazy sculpture walking down the street, dancing down the street. And once you figure out how to make them, it's really not too complicated. I don't know if they'll do it again this year, but last year, Sally Dean and Michelle Levesque did a giant puppet workshop at North River Art Society. So I got to go and use some of their materials to get started. And they kind of talked through how it went. Sally had some great reference material. I think it was a book or a flyer made by the organization Bread and Puppet, which I believe is from Maine, if I'm correct. I know it's like New England, but northern New England. And they have all sorts of amazing puppet things going on. So I'm definitely going to try and draw a giant puppet. I think I might try and find an image of me wearing the giant butterfly puppet as my reference material. You won't be able to tell it's me because there's like a big cloth that comes down over. So the butterfly's way up here, and I have these giant sticks doing the arms. Well, not the arms, the wings. My arms are controlling the wings. So that should be a lot of fun. My arms are up over my head, flapping those wings. It's like this whole backpack you put on. So any way I sort of move my torso, I can get the entire giant sculpture to move along with me. For those of you just listening to this, I really hope that I described that properly. I think listening back to some of my previous podcasts, that is definitely something I'm working on because I am such a visual person and I know I am recording the video of this. So if you ever find that I'm describing something and I'm just like skipping over a bunch of words, maybe check out the video on Spotify or YouTube. I don't know if the video goes up on other podcast platforms, but I'm talking with my hands here. Okay, I can't help it. Sorry, I'm working on it. Okay, so that's the frame center job I have going on. So yeah, so today I'll be working on those designs. And again, when I'm talking about how do you work as a freelancer, those are the pay days when I'm actually on site putting them up. And so this is one of my prep days. So I'll work for that. Okay, I'm so excited. I just got a new job. A new client is a 62 plus elder housing facility community, independent living in Brockton. And I have been invited to come in as the artist in residence. I will be there weekly, and we are going to be working with my Creative Pathways program. I'm going to have all my sketchbooks, and we're going to be developing collage materials. I'm going to be sourcing even more materials. An amazing artist in Marshfield named Marsha Ballou, a fantastic woman who is a huge inspiration for this project to work in collage in this way at all. She donated a bunch of her scraps from her collages, so we're absolutely going to be using those. But yeah, I'm going to be working with the residents weekly, and we are going to be making 2 by 3 foot collages that I'm hoping to reflect the aesthetics of Cape Verde. A lot of the people in this community are Cape Verdean, and it is just such a beautiful place in the world. Volcanic mountains, desert atmosphere. It's a series of 10 islands. So you have ocean, you have cactus, you have mountains, you have farmland that's on the vertical. So it reminds me almost of what you might see in South America with some of that type of farming, just going up, 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 and all these little platforms up. Palm trees, some of the reference material I've been looking up from the Cape Verdean Islands highlight the beautiful, bold colors of the buildings. I see an image of the city street, and it's a bright yellow building, and then a bright teal building, and then a bright pink building. So I'm really excited to start that program. That is beginning at the end of April. I'm going to be asking the residents to bring any photos or reference materials they have of Cape Verde, and we'll just get going with it. So Frame Center has generously offered to donate frames to frame up these large collages to put up on the walls once they're finished. I'm just so excited. It just really feels like a lot of community connection happening. And, you know, I'm a small town girl. I've lived in this little suburb my whole life. I've moved out a little bit here and there, but I like it here. I would love to see the world, and I would love to travel, but it just hasn't happened that much for me yet. In another phase of life, I would love to explore the world more. But right now, my life is small, encapsulated in about a 10-mile square radius, which is lovely, where I am having my small children and lots of family and friends and this great arts community close. But I'm excited to learn about another culture through these residents. I have been trying to learn Portuguese on and off over the past year, but I'm really going to start buckling down on that. That is the official language in Cape Verde, but a lot of people are really speaking Cape Verdean Creole. So I'm trying to pick up on some of that too. So that is going to be a great project. I'm absolutely going to be sharing photos as we go, maybe some videos. And there are some artists living there that I know have been artists their whole lives. They continue to make art all the time. So maybe I'll even have an opportunity to interview one of these people once we get to know each other. Other things I have going on. Private lessons. I teach private lessons here at my home, in my home studio. I don't have a ton of space to really get like big classes or anything like that going. And obviously with my schedule having so many different things, which I love doing all these different things. But yeah, it's usually 1-to-1. And the way I do it is I have people on the wheel for 2 hour-and-a-half sessions. Then they come back to trim for 1 hour to remove all the excess clay off the piece after it's dried up a bit. Then the work goes through the kiln, comes out, and then they come back for a 4th opportunity to glaze their pieces. So it's a great way to get started with pottery or to brush up. My schedule, again, is tight though, right? Like the way I book things is all based on my childcare that I have set up. So in the future, I'll have more time. But right now, I'm trying to really lean in and just like, lean into the fact that I have small children. I always wanted to be a mom. I love spending time with my family. And as my business is sort of booming, it's hard to be protective of that time. People want private lessons nights and weekends a lot of the time, and that's just not when my availability is. I'm booking people typically between 10 and 3, and I usually have 3 days a week that I'm available. Lately, it's been pretty consistent. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. That might move around a little, but 10 to 3, that's tough for most people. So I'm sorry for all you 9-to-5ers. I hate telling you that I can't book you, but I do have a wait list that I hold on to people's information where when I know they're interested, but our availability doesn't line up, because in the future I am going to have more availability. So it might be a while, but I will circle back eventually. What else do I have going on right now? Well, I mean, I guess all the galleries where you can buy my work. So Clay Lounge is an amazing ceramics community in SoWa that is right in the South End in Boston. Very easy to get to. As a little country bumpkin girl, I always am like, where am I going to park when I'm going in the city? But you pretty much get off the highway in Boston and there's parking right under the highway. Seems a little sketch, but it seems like mostly okay. I don't know. Check your surroundings. But no, it's a great area over there. Lots of artists, these huge artist buildings with tons and tons of studios, tons of galleries. It's the neighborhood you want to go to if you want to see a lot of art in Boston. And you can see my art. So Clay Lounge sells some work out of the front area of their studio, and then there's tons of classes and workshops happening all the time. So you can get my work there. You can also get my work in Southie, that's in South Boston, different than the South End of Boston, but next door neighbors to each other. In Southie, you can check in with the boutique In Good Company to see what they have of my work. They usually put an order in once or twice a year with me, so you have to check and see what they got. Levitate put a big order in with me last year, and I believe they still have a few pieces of mine left at their Derby Street location, so you can buy my work there. Also, Literally Local is a fantastic new gallery in Brookline Village where they have over 50 or 60 artists all within the New England region. They have a collection of my little catch-all dishes, jewelry dishes, altar dishes. They're so cute. They're fantastic. You can never have enough of them, honestly. So go grab some there. And where else? Well, Frame Center. So through the month of April, you can buy my work at Frame Center while supplies last. I know I dropped off 6 pieces and now they have 5. So hopefully by the end of April, they'll have 0. If not, I will be picking them up and bringing them out to some of my other galleries for drop off. So yeah, so if you want some of my work, check out all of these great places. You won't really find me doing markets very often. In the holiday season, I loved doing the Wicked Women Makers Market in Marshfield with my girlfriend Lindsay Purcell. We had so much fun doing a collab where I made some of my altar dishes to sell with some of the crystals that she was providing. And I was doing aura drawings for people using my collage materials and my drawing multimedia supplies while Lindsay was doing tarot readings for people. It was a blast. We had so much fun. I would love to do something like that again. So that's holiday season. That's in November. And then I usually do a pop-up at my gym at MSC, which is a gym I love so much. It's a wonderful community. That's why I started there. I just, sort of like my whole business, I just needed to get out more. And I knew there was great people working out there. Always fun to be there. Tina Marin is the owner, and she's just got such a positive and supportive vibe. I wanted to be a part of all that. So they do an amazing thing in the holiday season where they'll have different vendors come in on a different Friday. So everyone's just in and out doing their regular workout, but there'll be one artist set up. And I'm telling you, that community comes out. So I had some of my biggest sales at my gym, which was just so cool. I was giving all the MSC members a discount. I usually do throughout the year. So any MSC people listening to this, if you like my work, let me know. You get a discount because I love you guys and I want to be in community with you and supporting my community. So that isn't just for members though. That's usually in December at some point, and anyone can come into the gym just to shop if you want to see my stuff there. But, my time in the studio is a time when I get to just fulfill orders, but then also be making work that I'm just passionate about and I'm excited about and are pushing my artistic ideas a little bit further. So all those different galleries is where you can see that work. And I would be open to taking more wholesale clients. So if you know anyone who is looking to sell pottery, something specifically I would love to place my work with someone that wanted to sell some of my altar dishes. Maybe I should hit up Ritual Yoga Studio. Sarah White is the owner over there in Weymouth. They are currently displaying the collection of tiles that I make. There are these really beautiful flowers that pop up out of the tile. I think the tile is probably about, 3 by 3 square inches or something like that. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 3.5, I don't know, somewhere around there. And they hang on the wall. So she has 4 of them on display. You can buy them there. So if you're interested in my tile collection, head to Ritual Yoga Studio and also take a class and also hang out, because she has created the most cozy spot. I'm just in awe when I'm somewhere that's really well designed. It's just like, it's such a vibe in there. It's wonderful. It's a good place to be. So go there and maybe I'll see if I can put some of my altar dishes there too, because I feel like that would fit for all of my yoga girlies who want to be burning some cone incense or have a special little dish for their crystals or what have you. So I got to figure that out. But let me know if you think of somewhere else that might want to sell those. Pretty much all of my mugs and vases and stuff, I'm making enough that they all have placement right now. But yeah, let me know if you have any leads on wholesale orders. I really like doing wholesale, which is 50% off. I start that at 12 mugs. So if you buy 12 mugs, you will get a wholesale price. And hey, what about for Christmas or for your staff, right? Like my mugs retail right now for $42 without gold. So that is $21 each. Like if you're going to be spending $20-ish on a big group of people, put in a wholesale order with me. I'll make something for you. Or you can pick out what I have. But yeah, I should be pushing that a little bit more. Okay, so I'm booking about 6 to 12 months out for events. But let me know if you're interested in have Creative Pathways come to your community. I say Creative Pathways is essentially using creativity as a tool for connection, right? That's how a lot of this started. I needed to get out more. I wanted to connect with my community more. And so I developed this sketchbook collage program. I love working with new people. So yeah, let me know. And one more thing I wanted to document here in this conversation before I let you go. I hope this hasn't been too boring rambling, but I don't know, people are always curious about how I have like all these different things I have going on. So this is what I'm doing. I thought I'd just pop in and let you all know. But yeah, the last thing I want to highlight is that I received an award. There'll be an actual awards ceremony sometime later this year, but the MAEA, the Massachusetts Art Educators Association, has named me as the 2025 Community Arts Educator of the Year. I am still pinching myself over it. I am just absolutely thrilled that my work through Creative Pathways was looked at by peers and people further along in this path than I am, and they chose me to highlight. So yeah, I'm blown away. Thank you so much to Sage Brousseau, a longtime friend and colleague. We were running visual arts programming at YMCAs at the same time. Man, a long time ago, 15 years ago, maybe. Has it been that long? Yeah, I think it has been that long. Sage is now the lead arts educator at the Boston Children's Museum, and Sage put my nomination in. So that's why I want to say thank you to her. She put my nomination in. The committee notified me of that, asked me to write up some more information. I honestly don't even really remember. I think they might have had some specific questions, but it's just little old me working over here, figuring it out as I go. So I filled it in, I sent it off, and I was completely shocked that I got the award. I got the email and I didn't even know what it was talking about. It really took me a minute. I thought it was spam at first. I had probably scrolled past the email, at least 5 times earlier in the day, didn't even click on it. But yeah, so there is a link to that in my website where you can read more about that and see the other educators who are being recognized this year. They include museum educators, I think, like secondary education. I don't even know. There's a whole list. Okay, so check that out. But yeah, I'm really, really psyched about that because, again, I'm just working for myself over here while I have credentials just based on my resume and everything, all these different jobs, everything I've done over the years. It is really exciting to get that acknowledgement. And it feels like another credential. It feels like another way to help open doors for my programming to come in so that outside groups and new clients will trust me that I'm not just some rando. I do have a good thing going here. I am obsessed with Creative Pathways. It's my life. I'm going to be doing this work forever. So let me know if you want to be involved in any way, and let's get you involved. Okay, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you so much for listening to this whole thing. I'll do different catch-ups like this as we go, and I'm also going to be doing another solo series within this podcast, which is going to be highlighting more specifically exactly what Creative Pathways is as far as the project goes, the sketchbooks, how to get it started, how you can do this in your community, how you can engage with my program at no cost. You can host a sketchbook for free. There's no cost. The places that have them open for participation right now, there's no cost to that. The professional artists that have them on site, there's no cost to that. I've had the sketchbooks placed in classrooms so that third graders could participate and add to their drawings when they finished with their work for some free time. So if you're interested in getting involved at any level, let me know. But yeah, just keep learning, keep taking classes, keep the faucet to creativity on, make lots of bad work, and then make more work on top of it. And sometimes it all comes together. You'd be surprised. So yeah, thank you so much. And I'll talk to you all again soon.